Hello everybody, my name is Fabio Sdogati. I am a professor of international economics at the Business School of the Politecnico di Milano and at the Politecnico of Milano itself. Today I would like to welcome you to what I hope will be a series of exchanges on issues of international relevance about which I would like to share my thoughts with you. Today's Financial Times has the Greek problem on the front page. Let's start talking about this. What is the Greek problem? Well, the Greek problem is the following. For many, many years, Greece has enjoyed a relatively high, a rather high by European standards at least, a rate of growth of its GDP. And well, that is a good thing. That is a good thing because Greece had a per capita income that was below, and still is below, that of the European Union, and we were happy to see the country's GDP increase and average per capita income increase. The problem then arose that how shall I put it? Private incomes were increasing, and as private income increases, usually the population demands more services, more public services. And the governments began many years ago to spend beyond whatever it was they were collecting in tax revenues. That is normal. That is normal. Every government in the world spends more than it collects. Why? Well, the reason is simple. It wants to spend more than it collects in tax revenues because it wants to supply services, and you could even say because governments want to be re-elected. And you get re-elected if you keep unemployment down. And you keep unemployment down if you spend a lot of money. Okay, good. So the government, the Greek government, the Greek governments have been accumulating deficits. We define a deficit as the difference between what the government spends in any given period and the value of its tax collections. Well, the problem arose a few months ago when there was a change from a right-wing government in Greece and a left-wing government in Greece. And of course the problem arose in terms of accounting. All of a sudden the new government discovered that the old government has spent beyond any, how shall I put it, beyond any limits, so to speak. And indeed, the daily press makes a point that accounts were even faked by the old government. Well, when a country has a government which all of a sudden declares that its level of indebtedness with the rest of the world is high, well, what happens is that creditors become very nervous, and therefore they start recalling their credits from the government. At this point, some of these agencies, called rating agencies, and Fitch was the first, decided to downgrade the Greek government's debt. That creates a lot of problems. One of the problems it creates is that the European Central Bank may no longer accept the Greek debt because it has been evaluated of a higher level of risk by rating agencies. As a consequence, there's a tremendous amount of pressure at this moment on the Greek government to try and find ways to reduce next year's deficit, either by increasing taxes or by cutting spending, or both. This is all very normal. Deficit spending by the Greek government has been a bit excessive, but that is not the big issue. The big issue on the papers, on the press, was the following. Is Greek membership in the European Union in question? Is this situation likely to bring to, how shall I say, an exit of Greece from the European Union and from the European Monetary Union? Please do remember that Greece is a member of the euro area. My answer to that is there is no chance. We know, and economic theory tells us, that when a country has a government which is overly indebted, the big problem the country faces is the depreciation of its currency as international investors withdraw their capital from that government's debt and sell that country's currency on the foreign exchange market to revert to its own domestic currency. Greece does not have its own currency anymore. There are now 16 countries in Europe which do not have a currency of their own, and therefore what we have is that one country, and a small one at that, out of 16, whose government is relatively highly indebted. I don't think we will see any effect on Greek's currency for the simple reason that there is no such a thing as the Greek currency. And therefore the issue is not whether or not other euro area governments will help Greece. There is nothing to help. Simply, the Greek government will have to pay higher revenues, higher interest rates on their bonds, and residents of Europe as well as residents of the rest of the world will be interested in buying bonds which will pay a higher rate of return. So yes, there is a problem with the Greek government. There is a problem with the Greek government, and the Greek government will have to cut spending in part and to increase taxes on another, but on average there is no reason to believe that the European Monetary Union is at risk in any way. Thank you for your attention. I hope I'll be able to talk to you again next week.